All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Big Brother Pokemon Galar live jury Q&A. Oh, I found which one it is. Okay. So before we get started, I'm just going to send out the link to the VL as well as the jury. So here we go. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and begin. So obviously this is Allie and Lynn. After 56 days now playing this game, you guys are now going to face the jury and defend yourself as to why you should win this game. How this is going to work is just like every other season. You guys are going to get to give an opening statement for about 2 minutes each, and then we will bring in the jurors. Each juror will get 10 minutes to ask you whatever questions they have on their mind. And then we'll wrap up with some closing statements, and then we'll do a roundtable for the jury, and then tomorrow night at 9 we will crown the winner. So we'll go ahead and begin with opening statements. Predetermined. Allie, you're up first.
Okay, so I want to thank the hosts for bringing me back this season. I so desperately wanted redemption after my last time, and I'm very grateful that I got the opportunity to do that. I also want to thank everyone that played this season, from Mo to Lynn. It's been a game that put me into retirement for a while, but it has been a pleasure, and I have lots of positive memories and friends to take away from this season. So, I have been at finale once before, and I failed because of an inability to be confident and to own the game I played. While I may not be great at talking up my successes, tonight I am boosted by the fact that I know I am the deserving winner of the season, and I'm incredibly excited to show you why. I know I haven't got the confidence or personality of a typical BB winner, but I use that perception of me as clueless as a kind of shield in this game. I weaponized it, and I look forward to dismantling some negative perceptions of me tonight. I had a spider's web of connections this season spanning the entire house, which can be seen that I wasn't nominated once, nor was I ever really in jeopardy of hitting the block. I was in an alliance with every single member of the final 10 at some stage in this game, and I feel like I was able to pivot from connections and to go from group to group, flipping from vote to vote. And I was able to be open about it. I told Dylan and Olivia and Randy I was flipping and keeping Ursa, and yet I was able to avoid the consequences, which showed that my social game enabled those kind of opportunities. I was here to win this season, and I always was going to put my game first and make the tough decisions that needed to be made. I voted off Olivia, Randy, people that I worked with 50 plus days and who it hurt to vote out, but who I knew was the right move to propel me here. Something that Dem said in his goodbye message kind of stuck with me, and it's something that I've thought kind of applies as well. He said something like he couldn't win a comp, so he was forced to play a more strategic and social game this season, and that really applies. I could not win a comp for so many weeks, and it drove me mad, but I felt like it shows that despite not winning a comp, I was able to rely purely, I was forced to rely on a social game and get myself here. I was able to go back and forth, and I'm so proud. I'm proud of my game. I know it hurts and it's hard to respect a game that was kind of snaky like mine was, but just know that I took voting out people who I had personal connections with, which I did with most of this jury, really seriously. I would have only done it if I thought it was what it took for me to win. It's been a pleasure. I am really proud of this season. I'm so happy that either me, and I'm happy to see Lynn win the season as well, because I love her so much, and I'm looking forward to hearing your questions and maybe getting dragged, because I feel like it's probably coming. And that's that on that.
All right, thank you so much, Allie. Lynn, you're up next.
Okay, so hi everyone. I just want to take this opportunity to kind of explain and give the jurors insight on kind of how my game was, because I feel it could be assumed that I did nothing but besides that, a lot of the moves I made this season were for myself and only for myself. Because I made a lot of decisions that did go against the Ore grouping, which I'm sure everyone is thinking that I was carried here because of them in some way. For example, during the EPOV week, I put up Trent when a few of people in that group wanted me to put up Anna Jane because of the fact that she was a big target. And I put Trent out because of the fact that Anna Jane was a target. And Trent was kind of playing a middle game, and I felt like I wanted to play that game, and with him gone, it left an opening for someone to play that way. And also keeping Anna Jane there was another reason why like keeping her there was the other side of the house had a target the whole time because I didn't know who their target would be after she was gone. And also and then I flipped to keep Alyssa, which I feel like through this whole game I've been pretty honest, and the only reason why I lied about that one vote is because it was a way to dismantle like Olivia, Dylan, and Anna Jane from each other because they were a trio for the longest time. I just lost. Whew. And then once the vote flipped, I feel like also a good reason why Anna Jane stayed for that was because of the fact that she used her double vote on me for some reason, and I feel like that kind of put trust somewhere where me and her really didn't have trust at all. And also with the EPOV of like Randy wouldn't have even had it if I hadn't gotten money from Nora and everyone to give him the money for it. And I felt like that was a good decision because he was the one that was probably going to end up on the block between like most of the people. So he would have used it and it would have been more to his advantage. And also me flipping to keep Alyssa helped me get in an alliance with most of the final 10 as well, because I feel like it helped me get in one with Eve, Alyssa, Emma, and Allie, and they were the ones who kind of won the past two comps right then. And I believe that me keeping Alyssa changed the course of the game. And if I went the easy way and just followed my alliance, I don't believe I would be in like the position I am right now. I feel like my biggest regret this game by far was probably like playing a little too dumb because I know for all the decisions I was like, I don't know why I did that. I knew what I did and I did it on purpose. And every single move I made in this game was to further myself personally. I just wanted to take that time to show that I wasn't useless and that I wasn't just a nobody in this game. Like, I hope it kind of got people thinking of the moves that I did make for myself. And I also would love to hear everybody's statements and everything. And I also wanted to go ahead and take this time to apologize for anything I said that was disrespectful. I truly never meant for anything I've ever said to be taken meanly or in the wrong way because I play games to have fun and I want everybody to have fun in games. And also, I'm excited just to see what everyone has to say and to please don't drag me or Allie hard because I feel like we're sensitive.
Okay, so those are our opening statements. We're going to begin with Dem. So I'm going to go ahead and add him. And he'll join whenever he's ready.
If he performs Megatron, I will just scream.
I look a mess.
Hiya, Dem. The floor is all yours. You have 10 minutes.
Hi. Okay, wait a second. Okay,
I see him.
Yeah, it's still loading for me as well.
Oh, it's still loading. Well, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, well, Allie, first I just want to say, I was like the only one that was rooting for you this whole time to win the final HOH and everything. I think you played an amazing game. You have never been on the block, not once, and I think people need to give you credit for that. And with Lynn, I feel like you were just a bandwagoner. During fight night and every time there's an argument against me, you always joined the bandwagon when I have never had a problem with you at all. So yeah, you're just a bandwagon person. I feel like for both of you, none of you really had to play a hard game. And I feel like you guys saying like, oh, I've made all these big moves and blah, blah, blah. You guys were carried to the end by Olivia and Randy. The returnees, you guys were never in jeopardy. Let's just be for real. You guys won like the first HOHs in the game. You guys were never put on the block, so I don't understand what you guys are acting like. You guys had to make such big moves in this game when you did not. You relied on pawns like Dylan or some of your side pieces like Ali, I guess you had Alyssa, Olivia, you had like Anna Jane. So you guys never really had a heart in this game. So, and I would also like to say, with Lynn, I just have one question for you right now. Do you want to win this game?
Yeah, I obviously I really do want to win this game. Like I put a lot of effort to it, even though it may not have shown as clearly as some other people. But every single move I made was because I wanted to make it to the final two, and I wanted to try and win this game.
So did you try to basically have alliances with anyone outside of the Warray?
Yeah, I was in a lot of like pre-jury alliances. Like I was in a few, and I know like a lot of them didn't work out, but I feel like it's because the targets were placed on some of those people early on, and so they just had to happen. And I feel like associating myself like fully with them might have put a target on my back as well. And I know like once like jury alliances after flipping to vote with like Alyssa, I was in an alliance with them as well, and I felt like that was like an alliance that took me a lot further. And I feel like if I had just stuck with like Ore the whole time, I wouldn't have made it as far as I did.
Okay. And I just have one question for both of you. Why should I vote for you to win? Not why should everybody else vote for you, but why should me specifically give you my vote? Ali, you can go first.
Okay, I think you should give me your vote because it's like I feel like we were kind of in a similar spot where comps were not an option for either of us because neither of us could win anything for ages. And so I feel like we were both forced to kind of have to rely on trying to make connections and make strategic connections. And I know you said you were frustrated that you weren't given the opportunity to, but I feel like you're in a position to see the kind of box I was forced into of just having to do rely on social connections. So I think you have an awareness of the kind of situation I was in that means you would be able to cast a vote for me, understanding the position I was in.
Okay.
Oh, is it my turn? Oh. I feel like you were talking about how like we never really had to struggle to like stay in this game, and I feel like I have because I was a final nominee a few times, and I feel like if I had just relied on other people to save me, I wouldn't have been saved because I feel like a lot of people were probably thinking for their game personally why it would be good to keep me. So I had to go to them personally and try to make connections and try to connect on a way so they would keep me. And for going along with the bandwagon of like going against you, I never really wanted to go against you. I think I just wanted to understand where you were coming from because I didn't want to do anything like mean to you, and I just wanted to see what was going on and why you felt like everybody was against you because I didn't want that for you, I guess.
Okay. Did you ever feel like you were in jeopardy, like in this game?
I mean, yeah, like when the EPOB was used and I was there, I was scared that I wasn't gonna stay against Trent, but I felt like it was like a high risk, high reward because if I put Anna Jane up, I would have stayed 100%. If I put Trent up, it would have been better for my game if he left, but it was a possible I could have gone.
Okay.
Were you asking me the same question about Jeopardy, or was that just for them?
Oh, you can answer if you want.
Oh, because I was going to say the answer for me is probably no. Like I do feel like I kind of I feel like there was never an HOH results this season where I was like, oh no, that person won, I'm hitting the block. So I think in that sense, no, I didn't feel that in the same way. And in fact, that's not a bad thing because it shows I did something right.
But do you guys feel like you felt that way because you're always in the majority alliance? Like you guys always had like Olivia, Randy as like your
I
back pocket, you know?
But I would say no, and I find this actually does apply to both of us. Where I know for me, I didn't make decisions that were in the best interest of like Randy and Olivia. Like for example, like the bad example was keeping Alyssa when she wouldn't have wanted. When like Randy's like big backdoor plan was to like get rid of Alyssa as big player, and it was like no, because it was better for like me, and that like it worked out that Ore like didn't go home, but it easily could have. Alyssa could have been like, you know what, Randy and Olivia hit the block, why don't you go home, and then it wouldn't have been an Ore thing. Like I did a move that wouldn't have worked out for Ore potentially because it was good for me.
Okay, that's all I have to ask. Thank you. And bye.
Thanks, Dan.
Bye.
Adios. All right. So
I'm nervous.
next up is Dylan.
Oh no.
Ooh.
All right. Oh.
I'm so nervous.
Yeah, I can
Oh.
see how red my face is getting right here. That's how you can tell I'm nervous. I'm getting red. And I'm stuttering. That's how it be.
One down, 8 to go.
8.
I'm so glad this jury wasn't any bigger though. Imagine if this was an 11 man.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Hello, Dylan.
Uh-oh.
Well,
Oh.
hey. All right,
Um,
you're good. Go ahead.
Oh, it's my turn. Hi. Okay. Let me find my questions for you fatties. One sec. Hmm. Who do I want to grill first, Ali or Lynn? Okay. So Ali, one of my biggest problems with you in this game is I feel that you, like Olivia said, are a snowflake and you're not willing to take accountability for the many shady different things that you did, such as using that personal conversation me and you had about Olivia. You used that as leverage during our vote, and I felt that that was personally very shady. You were really washy with Nora, like all that kind of stuff. I want you right here, right now, I want you to take accountability for the shady things you did because personally, as a juror, I think that accountability is the most important thing to me. And you did play a snake game, thing, but I just want you to take credit for being a snake. Like, like I want you to like
Sure,
tell me how that benefited your game.
sure. Like for example, with the like Olivia conversation, I heard as soon as I told you that you'd sent it to her, and I had seen that you thought it was kind of your Muppet and your side piece and all that kind of stuff. So I would like
Right,
own that. I would literally get on call with you and like, oh Dylan, I don't know what to do. Nobody talks to me. Like I'll own it. I would literally like saying nothing and pretending to be this kind of complete idiot when I knew I wasn't. And like it would literally be like the week when it was the Taylor Rose Gold Paravito thing. I literally typed up this like
right.
piece of logic about like, okay, if Eve, it's Eve and Taylor, and Eve plays it, da 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 da, and then Olivia copy and pasted it into your chat, and then you told it to me on call, and I would just completely play you like that, and I'll own it because I knew it's
Okay,
what I needed to do.
yeah. Okay, awesome. And for Lynn, I mean, you kind of already answered this, but I just kind of want to hear you again because this was my question I had for you. So I don't want it to go to waste. But my question for you was about Alyssa's week during Randy's HOH when Alyssa was on the block. We all thought you were gonna vote to evict her, but you flipped to evict Dem, and this move really fucked me and Olivia up. So, and we both really had your back. So I just want to hear you said this, but I want to hear you tell me personally why that benefited your game.
Okay, so I feel like when it came to it, like you, Olivia, and Anna Jane were like a tight trio.
Yes.
And I felt like in the end, like if it came down to it, I wanted it to be me over you two that she would pick. And so I felt like me flipping kept Alyssa as a target for y'all, kind of. So you wouldn't be targeting like other people who had my back as well. And I feel like it also like doing it and lying about it and painting the target on Anna Jane helped separate y'all, and it helped like make it more, I guess, Olivia more reliant on us than on y'all.
And I have another thing to say. So I feel like the big perception for y'all too is that like the coattails of Olivia and Randy this whole game. One move that both of you guys made that was completely independent from Randy and Olivia that they had no help in, that was just you.
Um, well, I feel like we've both used like Alyssa vote because it's kind of the easiest one. But like, I'm trying to think of another example. I feel like it's just like not telling Randy and Olivia stuff. Like they would tell us everything. Like Olivia would send us literally every single thing that was said in your Trinity chat. But like I was in a three-person thing with me, Alyssa, Emma. I kept everything that was said in there a secret. I like kept that Emma told me about Taylor's Rose Gold Paravito a secret, didn't tell anyone. I told you about to give some weird excuse why it wasn't to do with Emma. I like didn't tell them stuff. I feel like that's a good something I did that wasn't in their interest.
Yeah, I feel like also like I kind of feel the same way because um like I came into this game like knowing Nora and being friends with Nora, and like I told them that, but I didn't tell them the extent of everything that I did tell Nora and how close I was with Nora because I told her about the Ori Alliance. I told her things like that. So she would be with me. She gave me like money to help get the EPOV, which like really helped us out, as I like kind of mentioned before. And I feel like I also did keep things. I did things for myself because even when they found out that I was the flip vote, I got called selfish and not for the alliance and things like that. So I feel like a lot of my game was kind of playing for myself and not them.
And I have one more question. amazing. Okay, that's all I have to say. Bye.
Did he cut? I didn't hear what he said. He cut out.
Yeah, I don't know. He said I have one
I-
more question and then
I don't
laughed
know
and then
what.
was like,
I'll
bye.
ask him and then I'll read it if.
Because all I heard was the laugh.
Yeah,
So I didn't know what he
I
said.
heard like a
Oh,
cackle.
guess it'll be a mystery. All right,
Mm.
Nora is next.
Legend. I'm so nervous energy.
Hi, Nora.
Oh.
Nora.
Hi, Nora. Oh.
Oh, Nora, you're muted.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Let Nora speak.
Yeah, let her speak.
Wait, is she like?
please.
Oh, hey, Nora.
Hi, can you hear
Yeah, you're good.
me? Okay. So first of all, yeah. Oh my God. I don't know if you can hear me. I show this. Okay. I don't know if you can hear me. I think it's okay.
Yeah, we can hear
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
Yeah, you're
So
good.
first of all, I wanna congrat the final two. Yeah, let's be honest. This final two is kind of hard for me, not because I want to vote for both of you, but like I don't want to vote for any of you. Yeah, because I think because based on my eviction, that's kind of obvious, and I'm gonna clarify about that. I'm gonna address to Ali first, and then I will talk to Lynn. And feel free to ask me to re-ask the question if you don't understand because I have an for accent. Okay. Okay. So for Ali, please, can you tell me how many hours, how many minutes, and how many seconds you left me on red of my eviction?
I am genuinely really sorry about that. I was just out that day and wasn't messaging anyone. That wasn't me trying to leave anyone on read. But I'm really sorry for that because I should have taken the time to message you.
It's just I have confirmation from everybody that you were online that day. You were talking to people, but you are leaving me on red. So I don't understand. It was my last day in the game, and you didn't give me a chance to talk with you. Why?
I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to leave you on read. Like I haven't got a good answer because I didn't actually realize I was doing that.
Do you think I should reward that disrespectful act by my vote to win? Because actually, I can tell you my vote is really up on the air. I don't want to vote neither for you or for Lynn, so that kind of gives you both a chance to have my vote.
Mm.
So how can I vote for you after what you did to me?
I get that because leaving your read is like so gross, particularly on like your last day in the game. So I get why that would sting, but I feel like you particularly is someone who's like had like a really good read on the game like since the start. So I feel like it would be up to you and it's up to me to show you that, but that there's more to my game than that rudeness, and that I'd done more in the game that should outweigh that. Because I get that's a point against me. It's up to me to show that there's points in my favour that outweigh it, and I think that there are.
Is that the answer?
Just do you want me to go into like, okay, so I feel like the reason why I deserve your vote is because I do feel like you were onto the game I was playing while you were in the game. Like I said this in my goodbye message, part of why I voted you out, and I wish I hadn't. I just feel, the more I come back to it, the more I feel bad for leaving you on read. But you would always say stuff like, "Oh, Ali, you're fine with everyone. No one's going to nominate you, and I don't see anyone nominating you." And I felt like you were onto the fact that I was literally with every single person in the game, and I felt like if you stayed in the game, there would have come to a point, while it might not have been the next round, where you would have put me on the block and you would have had the receipts to get me out. So I think you appreciated the game I was playing while in the game, and I hope my actions as you left don't ruin that. But I feel like you saw the game I was playing while I was there.
Okay. Well, game wise, I understand you voting me, and that's not the problem. My problem was just that you left me on red. And I think that was very disrespectful.
Mhm.
That's my problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really because I'm really sorry. 'Cause I just haven't got a good reason for that. Because I just genuinely didn't realize I was doing that. Like as soon as I came back online on the evening, I messaged you. But I'm sorry for leaving you on red for so long because that's so gross. I'm just sorry for that.
Yeah, it was gross for sure. Sorry, I'm happy in some time to see you, but even if I have shady questions. Yeah, my next question. I heard when Alicia have been put up after my eviction that you told her you wanted to keep her. And I'm wondering how logically it was in your head that you could keep Alicia knowing you voted me out the round before because I was a vote. Someone was with Alicia. So when you said to Alicia you wanted to keep her, was it on premise something you told her just by sympathy, or you were just fake?
No, I told Alyssa this and I stand by it. I really regret the night she left, not voting to keep her. My logic was, oh, she's going anyway, my vote doesn't matter. But I feel really, really bad about just not keeping her anyway, because I know how much she trusted me. And even though it's out of my hands, I do regret that. Because me
But
keeping Olivia was putting my game first, and I get that, but I did not want Alyssa to go as soon as she did, and I stand by that as well. So just because
but
I
you
put my
know she won't gonna stay since I got evicted.
But then I also wasn't to know who would win HOH. Like once it was Alyssa, and like I didn't want to go to the end with Alyssa, and even though I loved her, that was true. But I did. It was like I had put my game first, and I was sad to see her go. But it doesn't mean I regret evicting you. I still thought evicting you was the right move.
Okay, my yeah yeah. My next question. Yeah, it's it's also a thought about your game in general. I think you play. Yeah, I think you admitted it in the opening statement. You played Snake. You played Dirty.
Mm.
But also, I have a question about the fact you acted very wishy-washy, unnecessary. I want to point that you acted wishy-washy, unnecessary, and you were fake, unnecessary too. Because I know in this game we need to be fake. We had to be wishy-washy sometimes, but I feel like sometimes it was unnecessary. You didn't have to do it, but you still did. And where here is my question, because sometimes I was wondering what you really think of it, because during Trent's eviction you were the first to come to them to tell him that you wanted to keep Trent. Then I heard from Lynn that you promised her to keep her, and after that there was this clonery about the vote steal, the vote stealing, sorry, yeah. And I really was wondering why you felt necessary to do thing that sometimes was not necessary in the game.
Okay, so speaking of the vote steal, and I don't know why I haven't mentioned this yet. So I At this point, I'm sure it's common knowledge that I completely made that up. All of it, my vote was gone, everything. The reason why in that instance, and also, if she's watching, I want to specifically apologise to Emma for that, because I know how much she was frustrated that she couldn't speak to anyone that round. But it was because me keeping Lynn made 0 sense unless there was an Ore thing. 0 sense. So I knew I had to come up with an excuse to keep her that wouldn't also expose Ore, because at that point I knew it was too early for that to drop. But that was the reasoning for it. But in general, I think the reason I was wishy-washy is because I did feel bad. I was doing what was right on a game level, but it didn't mean I didn't feel bad on a person level, because I really, really did. That's where the wishy-washiness came from, but I know it was annoying.
Okay. Do you have something to tell me at the end before I talk to Lynn?
I'm sorry for leaving you on red.
Thank you. Okay, Lynn, hi.
Hi.
Hey. Yeah. I just have 2 questions for you. A question from me as a juror and a question from me as a friend. Before I ask my question, do you have something to say?
I don't think so. I don't know. I just like that vote was definitely one of the hardest votes I had to do, like the whole entire game, because of how like close I was to both of you. And I felt like I said it in my goodbye video. I felt like it was right for me to do, because I feel like if that moment I had voted against Ore, I feel like they all would have come against me for that particular time. I feel like Randy was a big power player, and I feel like if I gone against Olivia, who I'm pretty sure was his number 1, he would have definitely gone against me.
Well, your goodbye message is not really good, but like okay, yeah. So the question from me as a juror, yeah, the jury is kind of skeptical about your flip-flop and your poor social game. Can you can you clarify us why we are wrong thinking you have a poor social game and your flip-flop were kind of useless?
I mean, I don't think y'all are wrong in saying that I don't think I had a poor social game, but it definitely wasn't a good one, because I feel like I could have talked to more people and made more personal bonds with people than what I did. But I feel like
Can
that's
you
my
name
mistake.
these people?
Do what? Sorry, you broke up.
Can you name these people,
The
please?
the people that I should have had better bonds with, or that I did have bonds with.
You did have.
I mean, I feel like I had one with you. I feel like I obviously had one with Ore. I feel like in the beginning I didn't have one with a lot of people, but as time progressed, I had some, and then I left for a week, and then people stopped having them, and then like I think my social like connections with people were on and off. Like with Emma, I had one with her, and then it kind of was off, and then I went back on with it. I feel like with Eve, I tried to have one, but obviously that was a change of heart on I don't even know. Um, I feel like those are people that I had connections with. I feel like I had some on both sides, but maybe stronger ones on one particular side.
Okay. And how about your flip-flop?
With my flip flop, I feel like each day and each vote, whoever was up, I made the decision, okay, this person staying is what's going to be best for my game. And I feel like I wasn't looking on, oh, like this side or this side. I feel like I was taking each vote, like vote by vote, and who was going to be. So, like, flipping wasn't like, oh, I'm going to flip to one side. It was, I'm going to flip to keep the person who's going to be best for my game.
Oh my god.
What?
Okay.
Hello? Oh.
Nora, I think you were cutting out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have another question?
Oh,
Aw. Nora?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can. Yay.
Yeah, I just have a last question for.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah. So Lynn, as a friend, I can tell you I'm on the I know about the votes. So yeah, because in the game I think I think kind of hard to reward your game by a vote. But as a friend, like I should vote for you, but I don't think like I'm gonna vote. So like for Ali, I wanted to ask you if you have a last statement before before the end of my job.
I think she asked if you had a last thing to say.
Oh, it was for me?
Mhm.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear my name. I mean, I think that I'm not going to be mad at you. I really value our friendship, and no matter what, I'm not going to take anything personally. I feel like you vote how you want to vote, and I don't want you to vote based on the fact that we were just friends. No matter what, I don't take things personally, and I feel like on a game level, you got to do what you got to do.
Okay, thank you. Good luck for Bob.
All right, thank you, Nora. Bye-bye. All right, next up is Alyssa. She told me she might be a few moments late, so if so, we'll just sit in silence. Or we'll, I don't know, if anyone wants to dance, recreate your favorite Dem dance.
What is he, dim as Megatron?
I'm taking the bald head whipping back and forth.
Yes!
Dim whips his bald head back and forth.
Iconic. Hey!
Oh, this is weird.
All right, the floor is all yours, Alyssa.
Hold on, let me do mobile. This is annoying.
Okay.
Okay.
So, what was your... Oh!
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, welcome back. Go ahead.
Oh fuck! All my notes are on my phone. God damn it. Okay. Hi, Allie. Oh, I just have a selfish question. I'm really curious because they didn't do a live stream of the thing last night. Did you get my question right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, let me tell you a little bit of the situation. Here's the situation. So, Allie, you're the front runner coming into this. You just need to answer all of your questions well. And I think you're going to be okay. However, you did just unleash a fuel of hatred by bringing up that that silencing thing was fake. I think it's personally fucking genius because if you voted out Trent, I would have been like, okay, I'm done with your ass real quick.
Mhm.
But a lot of people are upset that you didn't own that move in the game, even though I think it was smart that you did. Okay, so I'll get started. Allie, you
Yeah.
told me at the Olivia Nora vote that you had no other plans to the end except for myself and Emma. I told you that if Olivia stayed, I was fucked for live night, and I was right. Tell me why you risked the life of your closest ally, who at the time had won 3 HOHs, and was always keeping you safe, never putting you on the block, never even thought about it, even if Nora decided to throw you under the bus with screenshots, which I don't know if she would have. I'm biased, of course, because it ultimately led to my downfall, but I think that move was a mistake. And the jury, when you did it, when I got in, I don't know if the perception has really changed about it, but we viewed it as an example of you being Olivia's goat. So tell me what happened.
Okay, so part of why I did it is because I love you and I love working with you. But the thing is, and people have said this about you before, nobody gives off winner energy like you do. And I know if me, you, Emma marched to the end as a 3, it would have been, oh wow, look at Alyssa and her 2 goats going flip flop next to her. And so I realised, like, much as I love you so much and love working with you, you being in my endgame plans, much as it would have been the kind of safe route, because it would have been, it was not the smart one. So even though voting off Nora put you in a bad spot, it was a move I had to make. And I feel like me being Olivia's goat is inaccurate. Partly because I voted her off, I think it's the biggest proof of that, but also that I did stuff against her throughout the season.
So me going was a risk that you had to take.
Yeah.
Okay. So Lynn. So Dylan told me that he was gonna ask this question, but he didn't. Your flip makes no sense to me. The flip on my vote and to flip right the fuck back, literally like 2 rounds after, it doesn't really make sense to me. And you said like the Anna Jane Olivia like split thing, which yeah, it did, but like that was literally like it. That was it.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't intend to flip like that. I think what happened was if anybody was up but Olivia, I would have stuck with y'all. I know like Eve, probably why she thought I was disrespectful in my video is because I was like, I don't understand exactly like why you thought I was gonna like not keep Olivia, because I feel like when we were on call the night before, I was clear in saying if you put her up, like y'all can do that, but I don't think I would ever be able to like vote her out in this situation so early like this. And I feel like if y'all like if it had stuck with Anna Jane or Nora, somebody else, literally anybody else had gone up, I probably would have stuck with y'all. I feel like it was just who was up and who was nominated as to what my issues were.
Okay. I think I have more for you. So you said you always knew exactly what you were doing and you played up not feeling confident in yourself and your decisions. So Randy just told us that you were the biggest pusher for putting Anna Jane on the block for the EPOV week, and he is the one who had to convince you otherwise and to do Trent. And before the vote between me and Dem, Emma and I were pushing you hella hard to vote Dem, and it seemed that you made your official decision after we did that right before the vote. So with those kind of examples in mind of me thinking that you were influenced a lot by people, tell me why you weren't.
Okay. So I feel like for the whole entirety of the game, I was up playing like how dumb I was to certain situations. I know that Randy, because I was even playing dumb with Ore half the time, because I know that Randy was like, oh, because I know in the beginning I was like, yes, I'm putting up Anna Jane, and it's because I was more angry. And then once I really got down to thinking about it, everything made sense. And I feel like he was one who was like Anna Jane or not, don't do Anna Jane. And it's because when it was me and him on the block, I know Anna Jane told Olivia that Anna Jane and Dylan would keep Randy over me because he was more useful to them. And I knew that he was only pushing me for that reason of the fact that Anna Jane and Dylan would pick him over me any day. So I feel like I let him talk, but like in my head, I knew like as soon as I said it, because I was like, okay, now let's talk about it. I don't feel as 100% towards Anna Jane, like tell me who else. And like he said Trent, I was like, oh yeah, Trent, like that is a good option. And then when you and Emma were pushing me for the other votes, that was like, because I remember even like earlier in that day before y'all were talking to me, I went to Allie and I was like, hey, so like we're keeping Alyssa question mark. And then like I didn't want to seem like I was like, because I didn't want it to really get around early on that that's what I was doing to see if it would backfire on me. Like I wanted to get trust in people before I told, if that makes any sense.
Mhm. Okay. So Allie, just a few pieces of advice for you. You really dug yourself into a hole by revealing what you did. So what I want you to do, what you aren't doing, you're playing up the fact that you had a very strong social and strategic game. But you're not playing up your physical game at the end game, which I think is why you're here. That is the reason why you sent home two of the last high profile, strongest players into the jury.
Yeah.
So own that a little more.
Sure, like, sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So I was gonna say, like, I feel like part of, like, I think I did, like, the fact that I didn't need to rely on competition is a thing in itself, but the fact that I did then need to kind of, at the end, make the moves that I did to get, and it does say something. Like, Randy was evicting me, that says something. Olivia, I do not think was who wanted to sit with me in the end, much as she might be mad at me, and that was another thing that I had to win. Actually, no, I didn't have to win that week, I had to win the next week, but then I still feel like I had to win myself to the end, right at the end, only for a little bit, but I still had to. I think that's something in itself.
I agree with you. Yeah, own that. And then also, yeah, just another warning. I think your silencing double vote thing is amazing. I thought that was so smart. But you're gonna get a lot of shit for it very soon. So I just have one last question. This is kind of like a more personalized question slash encouraging you both kind of, even though I'm asking Lynn, to think about the fact that you are both presenting your games as being in the middle game sphere. So you have to prove to the jury that one of you was playing better than the other. So Lynn, my question to you is, why should I vote you to win over someone who is my closest ally in the entire game?
Because I feel like the fact that I didn't make strong bonds with every single person in the cast kind of helps me in an advantage as to when I voted against them, it wasn't as like a stab in the heart. I feel like I was forefront and like honest about most of everyone I was going to vote, except for when I thought that not being honest about it would have put me further in the game and disconnected some people from it. I feel like I played the best that I could have played in the situation I was in. I also couldn't really win many comps, but the comps that I did really try to win were comps that I feel like I needed to win, like early HOH, to show that I could win a comp. And the fact that I didn't win more was kind of on purpose and kind of not, on the fact that if I won them, who would I have put up? Because I felt like I still was in some way connected to people, to where if I put them up, I would have been awful for me.
Okay. That's it. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks, Alyssa. Adios.
Oh my god, I'm such a bad talker.
Alrighty. So next is Miss Evelyn.
Oh no. I'm so scared.
Oh. All right. Well. Oh. Hi, Evelyn.
I'm a
Whoa.
clown because you guys made me look like a clown. We'll start with that. I'm gonna start with Lynn first because everyone started with Allie. I have more questions for Lynn than Allie's, so let's start. Do you like my mess? Thank you. Lynn, are you okay with being the GOAT of the season again?
I mean, I'm not really okay with it because I definitely played a better game than I even played my last season. So I feel like if I get it, like I get it, but I feel like I've played a better game than any of my past 2 seasons. So not really would be okay with getting it again.
How do you feel about being seen as the only way Allie could win this season in a final 2?
I mean, good for him.
Okay. You was being viewed as nothing more than a layup your strategy of the season? Was it intentional? You've played 3 seasons. Did your gameplay change from your first season to now?
I mean, my gameplay definitely changed from my first season to now, considering I've made it to Final 2 this time when I was one of the first jurors lost. I feel like I talked to more people. I played more strategically instead of just latching on to one person to carry me to the end, like I did with Blake probably. I feel like I moved around instead of being like 100% with who I was with from day one. I like to go around and see who was more open to see who would best benefit me on getting furthest that I could get.
All right. Why was your goodbye message to me so rude? You had nothing to say I'm not done. You had nothing nice to say about my game. The only positive thing you had to say about me was the fact that we had a good night, one night in this game playing Roblox together. Can you explain that?
Yeah. So when I was one of the people that was up for the most disrespectful video you got, I guess I was kind of shocked because I kind of made it and I sent it, and I think it was because I was still confused and hurt and about you going around and trying to get, I guess, everybody left in the game against me on the fact that I was the flip vote. And I feel like that confusion and that hurt kind of played into my video, and I sent it before rewatching it and thinking of it as anything, because I do think you were playing a game, like you were connecting with people, you were thinking of what you needed to do. And I'm sorry I didn't convey that in my goodbye message. I don't mean to be disrespectful to anybody in any way, because games are meant to be fun. And I always want people to have fun in games, and the fact that I made you feel disrespected and that you weren't playing to your best ability, which I think you did play good, and you did play a good game and strategically and socially. And I'm sorry I didn't convey that in my goodbye message.
Thank you. Allie,
Mhm.
do you really think that your cutthroat and sneaky gameplay is the same thing as that you're conveniently out when anyone needs to reach you?
Beyond Nora, I don't. Would there be anyone else that I ignored messaging? I don't know.
Olivia had said something about it.
Well, that's just not accurate. Like, I feel like just because I like missed her message for 3 minutes as she messaged me on Skype does not mean I was ignoring her. And she said it herself that every time she called me the day she left, I would pick up immediately. So I think the fact that I was ignoring her on the day she left is not accurate.
Okay. And then at Final 9, you said evicting Olivia was not good because you were having Ori flashbacks, when at the end of the day, you still betrayed her at Final 5. But at the end of the day, also, the only Ori flashbacks that you might be having is having an entire jury flipped against you for poor gameplay. Why shouldn't the jury be bitter towards you this time?
I'd like to think the bitter shouldn't be bitter against me because I deserve to win. I think that becomes clear, and I think it continues to become clear. And I think the jury's mad because there are better players on jury than are in the final 2, and
There
that's
are
a
better
fair.
players in pre-jury that are in the final 2.
Fine, they're better in pre-jury and jury than in the final 2. But I feel like the big players that are on jury should, after having the games they played not win, they should vote for who deserves to win. And I feel like that's why, if you play a big game, you should vote for the better game. And that's why I feel like I should win.
And then I have a question for both of you. I'm going to take a page out of Asia from last season's book. Where was each person in the jury's downfall, and would you beat them in a final 2? Lynn, you can start. Like Dem, then
Yeah.
Lynn.
So I feel like with Dem, his downfall was I feel like kind of being cracked in a way that like it was, I don't want to like be, because I would genuinely think that he was doing the best that he could in the situation that he was in. And I think that it's just the way that he was kind of cracked and kind of painting a target on himself that he might not have had if he hadn't kind of gone extravagant like. I feel like Dylan's downfall was
Dem in the final 2?
would I beat Dim in the final 2?
Yeah, that was the second part of the question.
I'm sorry. Like, I feel like it's possible. I think that it depends on the rest of the game he would have played, because there was a lot more game between them. This was like a final 2 with the game that he had played. I feel like I could.
Okay.
Am I going through still? Or?
Yeah, Dylan.
Okay, so Dylan, I feel like his downfall might have been like trusting Olivia, I guess, more than he trusted Anna Jane. Yeah, and I feel like I feel like Dylan went around a lot, saying a lot of things, but I feel like if he did some more things with his game instead of sticking to like Anna Jane and Olivia the whole time, he probably could have beaten me. Nora, I feel like Nora's downfall might have been I don't know, because like I've loved her the whole game. I genuinely like was with her and I wanted to be with. I feel like the only problem was that she was against Olivia. And I feel like it was just maybe not having as much of a connection. I feel like she wasn't in as many alliances as she could have been, and I feel like that was one of her downfalls because I know when everybody was in the alliances, it was like her, Anna Jane, and Dylan were like the only ones I wasn't really in an alliance with. I feel like Alyssa. I think it.
Final two though.
Would I have beat Nora in a final two? I feel like it's possible. She was really woke and she knew what was going on in the game, but I feel like I also did, and I won some competitions, and I feel like I made connections where she might have not made connections.
Okay.
With Alyssa, I feel like her only downfall was the fact that she did win a lot of comp, and also I feel like she could have gotten like a little sassy with some people, and like honestly, I thought I loved her, thought it was like really iconic, but I feel like some people could have like maybe rubbed them the wrong way. And I know also her going after Randy, who was a key player and someone who won a lot of comp, might have been like one of her downfalls because she would have eventually been put up by him, like no matter what. And I absolutely would have been destroyed by her in a final two. I think that you talked to a lot of people, and I feel like a lot of people saw that and saw that you were kind of trying to like you were really close to Alyssa and everything, and I feel like when it came to sides and everything, you were with Alyssa, and I feel like it just kind of played that way. And I know that especially after you were going, like I thought we were close, like I thought like I really liked you personally, and I thought that yeah, so when you went around and it felt like you were trying to personally turn everybody in the house against me on your way out, and I feel like that's what hurt. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I was like, I'm voting to evict you, because it kind of hurt whenever.
Well, you do realize that the reason that I did that before I left was because you single-handedly, with Allie, ruined my game.
Yes, I understand that, but I also like I know my video was disrespectful. After rewatching, I was like, oh my god, like I understand. I'm so sorry, and like I felt awful. But I know I also mentioned how I don't know, maybe it was miscommunication or me just not remembering, but I don't think I ever was like, yes, I would be 100% down to vote Olivia if you put her up. Like I know being like, y'all can do it, but I don't know if I could do it. And so that was like my only thing and the only reason why I did it, and why I was honest with you from the beginning and saying that I wouldn't really be okay with voting her.
I'm running out of time, so I need you to finish the list with the.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Would you beat me in a final two?
I think it would kind of be in like a situation where it was like who talked the best during jury.
Okay. And then
Anna Jane, I feel like her downfall was probably another one that trusted Olivia more than she should have. I feel like she would have also destroyed me in final two. Olivia, I feel like her downfall is probably one that she would say herself, is winning that final 5 HOH. Or no, final 6 HOH and getting Anna Jane out, because she could have easily thrown it to me and I would have been the one to do it, and it wouldn't have put her in a bad position.
Could you beat Anna Jane or Olivia in a final two?
No.
Okay. And then Emma?
Emma, I feel like I don't know. I think she didn't play an obviously strong game, but I think one of her downfalls was also the fact that she wasn't in an array, and like we know that if she made it to the end, she would have destroyed us because of the fact that everybody was so mad about array kind of.
All right, hold on. Does someone have the stream open?
Yeah, like I hear the echo.
I haven't.
Okay.
I have it open, but it's paused.
Okay.
Should I do my list real quick?
Yeah, I have one more.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to
Sorry for going over my time.
Sorry.
Okay.
So you're fine. Other people do too.
Okay, so I'll try and go as quick as possible.
She still has to go through Randy.
I'm sorry.
So I feel like Randy played an obviously very strong game, and I think that out of everyone, he would like him. I feel like him, Alyssa, and Anna Jane were front runners of the 3 people who probably should have won this game. I feel like his only downfall was him not winning final HOH. Like if he brought Allie, he would have 100% won. Hands down, he played a genius game, and I give that up to him. Okay, and he would have definitely destroyed us both.
Okay, so I'm trying to quick because I need to kind of wrap this up. I think I lose to everybody, literally everybody except Lynn. Let me go through it quickly. I think Dem's downfall was, I think he had early allies who turned on him. Like I know he's mad at Randy. I think he needs to cut his ties with those people and try and work with new people. So that kind of he kept trying to like work with the same people, and that's why he got frustrated. I think Dylan definitely would have beat me. I know I said this already. I think his downfall was kind of talking like seeming in control and also being somewhat transparent with who he was working with. That meant he was kind of seen as a power player. Nora's downfall, I think, like Lindsay was being up against Olivia, but also I know she scared me personally and I wanted her out because she seemed really woke. Alyssa obviously would have just demolished
The
me.
final two? You said no, everyone already saw it.
Everyone would have been me. Alyssa gives off too much winner energy, and everyone knew she couldn't make it to the end. I think that's her downfall, and winning too much. But then she won luck once by accident. You would have beat me. I feel like your downfall was technically not putting up Olivia or Randy next to Anna Jane initially, but also trusting me and Lynn to evict Olivia, because we both did that, and that's something that screwed you over. Anna Jane would have beat me. Her downfall was, I think, trusting Olivia, also being someone that's going to clearly win and being such a comp threat. Olivia, I think she said her downfall. Her biggest mistake was Final 6 HOH. I also think it was maybe overestimating how much control she had over me. I don't think she had any. Emma's biggest downfall was, I think, the veto, because I think if she won that and won more, she would have made it to the end and she would have beat us. Randy's downfall was not winning Final HOH and not getting the statements right, because he would have taken either of us and won. But everyone beats me.
I mean, I'd have more questions, but I don't want to go over. So, I'm already over. So, thank you guys so much. I don't have any personal feelings towards you. Everything I just said was 100% just game. Lynn, I love you. I love you as a person. Allie, you're a great person. I love talking to you both overnight, like on late night calls or whatever. As much as I am disappointed, I'm just going to vote for the person that actually played a better game at the end of the day. I understand that you both played the game. I just think some of you played better than others, or than the other. So, yeah, I guess I'm done.
All right. Thank you, Evelyn. Bye-bye. All right. Now it's time for Anna Jane.
Oof, almost at Olivia. I'm like
also
myself.
Someone in the VL wanted me to ask Allie, what are you eating?
I have like pizza crusts because I'm nervous eating because I'm so stressed. Sorry.
Hello.
All right. Hey, Anna Jane.
Hi, I'm not going on cam, sorry, but here I am. I'm like nervous. I just want to start by saying that I enjoy both of you as people and as my friends, and I'm not gonna like go in on you guys. I just want to like figure out your games like for myself. Like I'm just here to figure out for me who I want to vote for. I went in with I'm pretty decided, but I don't like to go into these decided. So, you know, you can always sway me. So just please put a lot of effort into my questions. I've been taking notes for basically everything you guys have been saying. And I just want to start with, I just moved my phone. I just want to start with both of you have said that you were playing dumb. That confuses me because it feels like a cop-out kind of, because you were seen as not pawns, but as people who weren't like front runners of this game. So I just want you to elaborate on how the jury can hear you guys say that you're playing dumb and how you can separate them just thinking that you were dumb players. You know what I mean? So yeah, Allie, you can go first.
Sure, okay, because I feel like I have a good example of this, and I think the best example is with Dylan and me, where I would literally be talking in the RA chat and like talking logic, and then I'd be playing up to Dylan that I was really stupid. And I think that's a good example of a situation where it's clear I was playing dumb versus I was being dumb and pretending like it was deliberate. Like I would literally be like, I would talk about the like Taylor Rose Gold Power Veto plan in that alliance. Then Olivia would tell Dylan, and then Dylan would come and call me, and I'd be like, oh, "Dylan, what? We're gonna do a what?" Mm-hmm. And that's an example of when it was like clearly me playing it up versus it being me actually being dumb.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. Lynn, you can go ahead and answer.
I feel like I know I've kind of used this example a lot. But during when I put Trent up instead of you, for the EPOV thing, I know Eve called me that day and was like talking about it, and Trent would be blah 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 blah, like easy and like still good moves. And then Eve brought up you and was like yelling about you. Afterwards, she called me again and she was like, "Why didn't you put up Anna Jane? Like I told you to put up Anna Jane." And I was like, "Oh no, like I'm so stupid. Like I thought you were just like that was an option. I thought you would still been down for Trent. I didn't think I would have the votes. Like you know what I'm saying, to try and like stay on her side." As like trying to be like F Anna Jane, like kind of thing like
Right.
that. Like I would have done it. Like I don't know if that makes sense, but it was kind of like that and outplaying how the fact that I was like so down for you to like go up just then.
Yeah, I think that I'm just going to go off of what you just said because that was actually, I have that written down. When you said that you didn't want me up, I think Alyssa mentioned this too, that Randy thinks that you took that move from him, because before I even left the game, Randy messaged me and said that Olivia, you, and Allie all wanted me to go up in Trent's place, and Randy was the one who saved me there. So I just want like 100% honesty. Did you say to that? Like, was it just you in your own head, like making that decision, or did you like, are you just taking Randy's move? You know what I mean?
No, like I know it was kind of like a thing where so before I was like, oh, I'm putting Anna Jane up, like I'm making a move, like I'm doing the thing. And then like I was like, oh, I'm just mad about something that I don't even know what I'm mad. And so I sat down and I was like, think about it in a strategic mindset of who would be best for you to leave right now. And I was like, Anna Jane makes absolutely no sense. And so I was talking about it. And then because I know Olivia also sent screenshots of you and Dylan saying that you would evict me over Randy. And I think him seeing that was why he was like, oh, now Anna Jane does have to stay. But even before that, in my head, I was like, oh, like I think I would like to put Trent up, but I want them to bring it up themselves, I guess, to make it seem like I wasn't making moves, I guess, because I felt like if they saw me as like that, I feel like me playing dumb made them more targets over me. So I was hoping that if someone did catch on to Ore and wanted to do something about it, they would go against Olivia and Randy versus me.
Gotcha. I think that's a very good answer. Thank you, Lynn. Going off of that, this is kind of for both of you. I think one of you mentioned that you knew that Olivia and Randy were like final two or like closer to each other than you guys. I want to know when each of you figured that out and why at that point you didn't do anything about it, because I think for me it feels like you guys relied on them, and I want to hear why you didn't. Like, and I don't know, it just doesn't make sense if you knew that they were closer to each other in this 4-person alliance and you two didn't group up and be like, okay, whoa kind of thing. So I want to know what the thought process was. Allie, you can go because Lynn just talked.
Sure. I feel like to some extent we kind of did a little bit. We did kind of clock as in like together that a bit, I think. Is that like accurate? I feel like it kind of is.
Yeah, because I know we were talking about, we were like, oh, Randy, like he's like,
But also like, I feel like there was a couple of giveaways. I think the biggest one was Randy wanting to keep Olivia when it was Final 5. That didn't make sense. In my opinion, like I feel like unless they were a Final 2, before that, I just feel like I'm trying to remember. I know what. I remember assuming when it got exposed that Lynn kept Alyssa, I assume that Randy and Olivia are going to go, ooh, those two have burned us and they're not totally Ore, like kumbaya strong, let's group up and be a pair. So I think that's when I assumed it to be true, and then later stuff proved that assumption to be correct.
Awesome. Okay, Lynn, you can go.
Okay, and for me personally, it was in my head a lot earlier on because from playing with Randy in the past, I know he's really good, and he would say some things where I was like, I think he's trying to cause conflict between me and you, Olivia, because he knows we're close, and I know he's trying to separate me from you so he can take you. I said this to her on call before. And also whenever especially I know Olivia was more for it once, especially during her HOHs when she would put me up. She would be like, "Are you okay with being a pawn?" But she didn't even ask anybody else if they were okay with it. So I definitely realized that she was closer with other people than with me. And I feel like that's why I wasn't as about like going against them in some votes necessarily. And I think that it was one of those things where it's like they were already big targets out of Ore, so I felt like other people would take them out, and I didn't need to lose them as people and as a group because I knew they still had my back. I feel like if I ever went against them, and Randy was also such a big powerhouse in comps and everything, so if I went against Olivia, then he would come for me.
Gotcha. I'm gonna go off of that and ask each of you if you had to pick one person in this game who you were the most loyal to, or who would be like your number one ally, who would you guys pick? I'll let you both look like you're thinking, so
That
whoever
is so
wants
tough.
to.
Because can I like talk it through, or do I have to just say a name?
No, you can talk it through.
Because the thing is, the person now I realise how much of a snake I was. So I talked to, I want to say Emma the most, but I feel like I told Lynn the most what I was doing, if that makes sense. Like Emma I talked to every day, all the time. Same with Alyssa a little bit, but Lynn is the one who knew what I was doing the most, and by default kind of becomes my closest ally.
So do you think that's like what's making it hard for the jurors, like that the final two, that you brought your closest ally who knows all your moves, and the jury didn't really get to hear it as much, you know what I mean? Because you just said like you felt like Lynn knew all your moves, and I don't know if the jury did. So do you feel like that's like kind of a, not a downfall, but a hard time for you?
I mean, I would say I don't think when I say Lynn knew the most, I mean I don't mean she knew everything. I just meant like I told, but also to some extent I don't feel like I had an alternative. For me, it was pretty clear for a long time that if I went to, it became more and more like only option. But it's been clear to me for a while that I didn't have a choice. I couldn't go to the end with Alyssa or Emma or Olivia or Randy or you or Eve or anyone.
Yeah.
So much as I might love to have Lynn on the jury who heard about what I was thinking around Alyssa's Day or like other people, I know Lynn is the right person to be sitting next to me, so I don't get to make that choice. And I did get to make that choice, and her being here was the right choice.
Gotcha. Thank you, Lynn. You can go.
Also, I feel like the same way because I know that like I didn't tell anybody. Like my brain was thinking all the time, but Allie was like the one person because we could bond over the fact that we were like, I'm so annoyed that everybody thinks I'm so stupid. Like I'm literally here, like I'm literally doing things. Like that's what we would talk about all the time. And I feel like that's why we could connect more on a game level because we were kind of having the same idea with things. And I feel like when it came down to it, like I knew I was gonna have a tough time at a final two no matter what happened, but I feel like this is the only option I could have to even possibly come close to a win, was to be here. But yeah, like there was no other way for me. Like during everything, I was like, oh my God. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why I don't think I was trying my hardest for final HOH because I didn't want to like not bring Randy because like I love him. I think he deserves to win and everything. But I didn't want to have to make that decision because it was a hard one. And I think that I was rooting for Allie to win because I knew both of them were. But the fact that I would have more of a chance of Allie was like, oh my God, please, Allie, please, Allie, please, Allie. Like I was literally shaking like Allie, please, because I felt like this was my only possible chance out of the final like 10.
And I just have one final question for both of you, because I think I'm running out of time. But do you think that the Ore Alliance put you guys at an advantage earlier on than basically anyone else in the game? Oh, my screen just turned. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay, yeah. I just want to know if you think that, an alliance with all returnees that was formed very early, it just seems, if you're looking at it from a viewer perspective, it looks like a meta. It is meta. It looks like a pregame. It looks like all that stuff. I just want to hear your thoughts on why it's not and what you think.
Sure. I feel like, sorry, can I go
No,
first?
go. You want to spit it out.
I'm like ready to go.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, it was the least like an obvious immediate advantage. The three of them, I never talked to Lynn. I voted all three of them out. Olivia made a choke video 3 minutes long about how much she hated me. None of them voted for me at the end to win. They weren't three people. I was like, oh yes, I know Olivia's going to want to work with me immediately, and I know Randy's going to want to work with me immediately. Like I feel like for me, it was the least of like an obvious thing. Like I feel like it was I don't know if that's answering the question. I just feel like for me, it
No,
was
that's
not a kind
fine.
of. It wasn't like a kind of, oh, don't work with Olivia. Like, yes, we're best friends. Like,
Right. Lynn,
Yeah, no. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I do. I kind of feel exactly the same way because I know. Oh no! Like, what are these people doing here? And I went to message Randy, and he had. Um, so I was like, oh no, like this is not good. Like, oh no. Like, and then we made the alliance, and I was like still scared. Like, I was always so skeptical of like
Mhm.
Randy, and I was like, oh my god, like this is so like, especially
Mhm.
pre-jury. I felt like the bonds weren't as tight, but I felt like as a whole, like we only got tighter because we were like returnees have to stay because if we get one of each other out, they're gonna pick us up one by one.
Mhm.
So I feel like that was the thought process and the reason why ended up actually clicking besides
Yeah.
besides like our personal issues, we put those aside to work together, and then slowly our personal issues kind of got talked out and we got closer, like unpersonal. So it really wasn't like a tight thing until I want to say like jury-ish, like
Yeah.
like like late pre-jury, early jury is when we really like got tight.
Also, I just want to say, I think I told Olivia night one that I didn't want an Ori alliance. So it was, I was like, yes, let's do Ori because we are the worst season. So who wants that?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just want to say this has been very helpful for me, and I think you guys are both doing a great job. So, keep it up. Yeah. I don't know. Love you guys, and good luck. Talk to you
Thank you.
soon. Bye.
Thanks, Anna Jane. Adios.
Adios.
Oh God, I just realized
Okay,
who's
next is
next.
Olivia.
Oh, Olivia.
I want the sweet release of death to take me now.
Alright, she's on her way. Hi, Olivia.
Oh, let me close this because it's playing and we don't want another echo. Okay, I love you being so excited that I'm here. It's super awesome. There's a really good chance that I might have to leave just because I'm at my family's house, but we will go ahead and try to get started. Hi. It's been a hot second. So let me just put this on Do Not Disturb so you don't have to hear this. Sorry, I wasn't ready, obviously. So I just find it really interesting, like a lot of the things that you guys are saying. So I want to clarify, I'm not here to like scream and yell at you, even though you probably deserve it. But I know that there's a lot of people that are like feeling like you guys don't deserve to be here. And like, I think a lot of people have good reasons for that, especially when Allie, you say things like, I think everybody would win over me. So I just want to know, like, if everyone would win over you, why is it that we should vote for you? Just because you played better than Lynn. I mean, everyone played better than Lynn. I'm just kidding, Lynn. But like a lot of people did. So that's not like that big of accomplishment. Like, and I don't really understand why like that means like we should just hand you the win. Because that doesn't really make sense to me. So why should you win again? I'd like
I mean,
to know.
okay. I mean, if you're like the jury only has two people, and like just because I'm just because also I
Alright,
think
we
it-
got an echo here, lady. There's an echo.
Oh, is there an echo?
yeah. Oh, I
Mhm.
can.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I can.
Oh.
Wait, I'm gonna mute Olivia. Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah,
It's
mute me.
Olivia.
Okay, so I feel like just because I would lose to the others doesn't mean that should suddenly. Because I think Lynn would lose to all the others as well. I think it doesn't make a difference which one of us. And you only have the choice of the two of us. And I think we both lose to everyone. So I think just because I said it doesn't mean it's not true. But also, I'm saying.
So why should we vote for you again?
Oh, I'm just saying, but also because I played the better game of the two. I played the better game.
Okay. So you're admitting you played better than Lynn, but you didn't play well.
No, I didn't say that. I just said I was going to beat me.
Okay. So moving on. Let's see here. So I think that there is a lot of confusion for me as well about you guys saying that you knew that Randy and I were together the whole time, but then a lot of your examples came from like final six. And so I just wanted to clarify that as well. Like you maybe had like a feeling, but like that didn't really make sense either. And if so, I think like it's hard for people to take that as something to respect from you guys when we also were sitting there being like, people can't be bitter about Ori if they didn't take us out. And it's like, you can't really say like, oh, like I had this edge, I knew this thing about 2 people in our 4-person alliance, and then you didn't make any moves. So can you clarify again like how you knew that, and then like why it is that you didn't do anything? And Lynn can start first because everyone lets Allie talk first.
I just felt like I feel like when I kind of noticed it happening, because I feel like I said it on about like when Randy was kind of telling you things like that I had said to him whenever we were kind of having our issues for that minute, where I was like, oh, like I think he's telling you things to try to separate us because I feel like he knows we could be closer than you two could be possibly, and I think that that's where it kind of stuck in my head, but I didn't know what to do about it because of the fact that if I were to ever get you out, which would have been so hard to do, or if you had gone out, that Randy would have gone after me, and he was winning so many comps that it would have been so easy for him to do, and he's a really good talker. It would have been probably so easy for him to do. And for any other way, it's like Randy was winning comps, and anytime he was a final nom, he had the EPOV. Like it just, from what I knew that we had, it just didn't seem like an option that could happen easily.
Allie?
Okay, so your question was like, he was asking how you know and what we did with that, how we knew you two were close and what we did with that. Okay, I think what I said with Anna Jane is that I kind of assumed it versus having any proof of that. I just kind of assumed, particularly when like the round when Alyssa would have gone was final 11, so that was pretty far back, and also I just kind of assumed it, particularly when you two were getting in the confrontations and me and Lynn weren't, that I just kind of felt you two were going to go each other being like, oh, us doing all the fighting and all the hard work that way, and these two aren't, so we have to stick together. I kind of assumed that would mean you two would group up, and I don't feel like I did like use that beyond realizing that I couldn't go to final 4 with both of you, and particularly so I thought you would beat me, and I think it was proved right that me and Lynn would be seen as your goats, and even though you laughed at it when I said it, I knew it would be true, and so I think it is true that I when the time was to separate you two, I took it.
Okay. Also was curious how there's certain moments where you are claiming to have like made moves that were really helpful for you. And I think the best example is like the Alyssa week where you guys both flipped. And I think like regardless of like me being upset about it, Lynn actually kind of made sense because she got something out of it. She was able to like create a wedge between me and AJ and Dylan, and I've like resented her for that. Good job. But like Allie, it just kind of like is hard to follow your gameplay sometimes because you make a move and it's like helpful for you, but then you kind of disregard that later in the game. So like you did that by keeping me, which messed up your alliance or your friendship alliance, whatever, with Alyssa, and then later you evict me. Like it's a lot of like in the moment things. And I think for me personally, I really admire people's gameplay when they have a strategy of like purposeful relationships. Like I'm purposely building these relationships because this is how it's going to serve me, and then building on that instead of just braiding everybody's hair and singing with everybody and then just hoping that you can like flip-flop your way through the game. So like my question is like, how do you feel like your strategy like played out throughout the game? Do you feel like it was purposeful like the entire time, or do you feel like you went week by week? Because it's not a bad way either way, because everybody respects different things. I just personally don't respect that. So
Okay, so to kind of talk about it in order, I feel like I didn't get anything about Alyssa staying. I kept something from it, which was a bond with Alyssa. And I was kind of assuming someone would nominate you and Randy together eventually, and I thought Alyssa would be the one to do that, particularly that round. So I kept someone. Alyssa wasn't going to nominate me, so I didn't get something. I kept something from that, and I feel like my gameplay was week by week. And I know you said you don't necessarily respect that, but I do feel like it was true. Like I feel like I had long-term ideas, i.e. I couldn't go to the end with you or Randy or Alyssa or people like that, and like long-term stuff like that, and I like angle myself to get to the end. So in that sense it was long-term, but it was short-term in that I couldn't win anything, so I had to keep seeing who would win and kind of adapt like that, but also that I would kind of play it week by week, and I feel like I was more adaptable and flexible, which I know you said you don't necessarily expect that, but I feel like in itself can be somewhat impressive to be as flexible as I was.
Okay, I only have like a few more questions. So I am very curious because you guys are saying like, you fought your way on your own. You didn't need me and Allie to or me and Randy to carry you. Like you were doing your own stuff. That's interesting. So let's talk about like the game as a whole and not just like when you guys started playing, which is like kind of like late jury. So like, can you like explain to us how it is that you were playing the entire time? So like pre-jury, early jury, what was a move that like you came up with on your own? It can be something that we still did like as Ore, but what did you come up with on your own? And then you used primarily your own connections within the game to make that eviction happen or whatever it may be. And Lynn can start first because she's been just sitting there the whole time.
I feel like I've used like the putting Trent up example as like kind of a thing, but I feel like that was like an early.
Can I have a different example?
Yeah,
than Trent?
that's why. I feel like pre-jury I used like, honestly, like I felt like pre-jury was just it was like pre-jury. I know that I had like a few connections and then we would just vote them out, which like it wasn't really that big of a deal because of the fact that it was pre-jury, and I feel like I don't know, I feel like what had happened was it's just our who we wanted out and what we wanted to happen all aligned. And I feel like I did win an HOH pre-jury, which is something that I did do on my own. Like winning is something that you do on your own when it comes to competitions, especially when it's like a flash game one where you have no clue what anybody's going to do. And I feel like the noms I put up were ones that I did, like we talked about it, but I did them myself. And I feel like that's kind of what I did pre-jury and what was happening. Like I've been playing, but I felt like it was like we did things as a group, but we also kind of did things separately the whole time because I know like some of my connections, like I wasn't telling everything in the Ore chat as maybe some other people were doing.
Yeah, okay. I feel like an example I have, I'm trying to think of, I couldn't think of something, I can think of a move that Ore did that I feel like I had the biggest role in. Does that work as an example, or do you want something specifically separate?
That's fine.
Okay.
I want to know, like, you came up with it and then how you carried that.
Sure. So I feel like the best example is Taylor and his rose gold power veto. Like, I came to you guys with that information when Emma had told it to me. I sold it to you guys as oh, I figured it out versus her telling me. But so I told you guys that. And then when we were figuring out how to deal with it, I typed up this long paragraph of how we can get rid of it that you then copy and pasted, sent to the Trinity chat. And I remember you going, Ali, you haven't sent this to Dylan, right? Yeah, can I copy and paste it? Like, and then Dylan came on call with me, and then it was like, oh, what? Like playing stupid with him like I did all season. And so I feel like kind of from start to finish, from beginning of the information line to end of the information line, I had a big role in Taylor leading with the Rose Gold Power Veto. That's my example.
Okay, so really fast before like my last question, I just want to point out something to you guys since Alyssa was giving everyone pointers. In like the example with you, Lynn, I think what's making it difficult is it's like there's still a lot of like we did this, we like whatever like, and I just need to like feel like you personally were coming up with things and then carrying us to like the end of it. And the same thing with Allie, like you did come up with like the rose gold whatever, you did type that paragraph, but you also like weren't the one that like had to pull the connections to make it happen. That was like a very tricky week. And without like me and AJ and Dylan, and then like our relationship with Trent at that time, where like I was pulling from Trent as well, like that wouldn't have worked. And so I just think it's difficult because you guys want to claim that you were playing the whole time really hard and you were like pulling your weight, but you weren't really pulling your weight until like jury-ish. And like, I just have a hard time respecting that. I look frozen. Am I frozen? I'm not frozen. Okay, well, the picture's frozen for me. But anyways, so let's see. I'll just do one last, sure I'm running out of time. Okay, my last thing will just be to Allie. I'm really mad that this picture is frozen, so I can't see what I look like. But basically, like, you know that I obviously have a problem with the way that you've played. And the biggest problem that I have with it is like, I don't see how it's any different than Ore, other than you did it to less people this time. Like, my biggest problem with you is that you make these moves and then you act like there's no repercussions when we're playing a strategic and social game. So I think you're very lucky that you're sitting here with Lynn, because like people seem to be like up your butt a little bit more than Lynn. But like, I just have a problem. Like, I want to know, like, if you realize or if it wasn't intentional that you tend to make such like drastically different relationships on like a personal level and a game level. Like, I just don't understand, like, because it should be more purposeful and strategic of like making sure those are like clear. And so when you go to Alyssa and you cry to her about voting me out, it's kind of like, okay, you're getting like sympathy from her, like, and that's like a weird emotional personal thing. That's not a game thing. That's not using strategy to get her to not be mad at her. That's like an emotional thing. When you like don't respond to Nora all day and then you're like, I feel bad about doing this. And like when you even talked about maybe helping me keep AJ, like, I don't really care whether or not that was genuine. You were like, well, if you want, like, I can cover it up so they don't get suspicious of us by just like pulling an Allie and being like, oh, freak out. Like, that really bothers me, that that's like a serious option that you have, because when you do that, that's very frustrating as the people receiving it. And like, yes, you did respond to me after I double messaged you in the morning, but like, you left me and Lynn on read like at nighttime. You like were at your grandparents', which is fine, but it's like, it's just like disrespectful to like not be completely upfront. So I would like to know like what your defense is in like why you do this weird, gross, like emotional tangling when it comes to like gameplay. Because I would respect you more if you use strategy to get yourself out of situations instead of just being like emotionally like making people like feel bad for you and just like playing like a little snowflake card. So what is your defense when it comes to that?
Okay, I feel like the answer is that it's just like me being annoying and like just that I am emotional. Like, I can't help the fact that I am a snowflake and I get upset really easily, and I feel like that's always going to be a problem for me. And I feel like it is, I guess you can say it's true that I'm similar to Ori and that I'm still just as emotional as I was, but I feel like just here, the decisions I've made and the position I'm at now at the end is one that I can justifiably and happily say I deserve to win. And I feel like the emotional thing, it's never a conscious thing. I did not mean to be at the bus stop calling with Alyssa and losing my mind. That was not a deliberate decision, and I can't defend it or try and say, oh, it was my big strategy to be like, play an alley card. It's just me being emotional. So it's not like something I can claim as a good or a bad, it's just my personality.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify, since you used it as an option when we had talked about that, it was, yeah, just worrisome to me. But yeah, I don't really have a whole lot else to say. Like, I truly do hope you guys are able to figure out a way to convince people of whatever it is you're trying to convince. My mind is not made up so far because I'm not hearing what I want to hear. But yeah, good luck.
All right. So 2 more left. Then closing statements, then we're done. Next up is Miss Emma. Hi. Hi, Emma. All right. It's all yours. Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to say, I want to get the trivia to know. Big girls, big money, and well, 2 big goats. I'm kidding. I was just so upset today. I kind of want to make a bitter jury speech, because I was kind of like upset about the whole Ori thing, but I just couldn't do it because like something made me upset. I just like cried all day. But like, enough about me. I just wanna. My first question is, what do you guys have to like depend on? Like for me, I have to like use my social connections to play from the bottom for like 16 weeks. What did you guys have to do? Like, what's your biggest strength?
Do you want to go first there?
I don't mind.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay, I feel like my what I fell back on was my social connections. Like I know I was in the Ore thing, but I still like Ore. I'm trying to think. Didn't actually win. Other than the early ones, there's many weeks where it was other people's HOHs, other connections, and it was all over the map. And I still had to fall back on those connections with everyone. And I think I did fall back on that. That was what I depended on, my social ability, even though I'm annoying.
I feel like I depended more on strategic kind of plays because I feel like in my head I would think everything through, every option through, and I know I definitely did not have as many social standing as Ali did because I honestly suck at like doing that and like getting with everybody as much on a personal level as some others may. But I know like strategically, like when I make moves, I make sure that they're gonna benefit me in many ways than just one. And so I feel like every time I made like a move in my head that okay, like this is a strategic move for me, I made sure that it would help me in multiple ways than one and just like a vote. I guess if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah. I was just like more upset with the Ore lines. I mean, I'm not upset with Randy and Olivia. I mean, they did super well. Like they carried you guys. I was just like more upset with it because like if I was like included with your Ore alliance, I would be on the bottom. But if I was in the newbies, I would be on the bottom too. So I'm gonna start with Ali for a personal statement. Okay, Ali, I don't know like what to say. Cause I feel like really hurt by you. Like I know you didn't want to like stick with Alyssa for like too long because you're afraid to be like her goat, like you were with Ashvika, but Ashvika's not relevant, so yeah, like why didn't you want to stick with me? Like we could have like you could have turned on the Ori Alliance like earlier. And I think Olivia would have respected it if you like played it like strategically. Like 1 second, I'm speaking. Sorry. Okay, fuck. Okay. Yeah, I feel like Olivia would like respect it more. Like I don't know, Olivia, but like if you like pulled it out like a strategic decision and like kept Nora, I think you would still been in the same spot because I really wanted to go to the end with you. Like we both played similar games. Like hello. My question is, why didn't you turn on the Ori alliance? Like, yeah, why didn't you? I wish we could have gone to the end together.
Okay, sorry, Foster, sorry for interrupting you. I can't actually see you, so I don't actually. You paused, I thought you were done. I just had like a little spinning thing of squares rather than being able to see you. But to actually answer your question, I feel like, to be honest, I expected someone to just nominate Olivia and Randy for so long. Like my goal, final two, has been Lynn for a while because I thought she's my best option at the end. But my goal, final four, was by no means that. I was sure someone was going to do Olivia and Randy together, or one of them was going to go. And I knew me doing it wasn't good for me when they trusted me. But I think my goal, final four, was me, Lynn, you, and Eve for a while, and then so it would have ended up the same way, which is why I don't feel like it went bad in a way that screwed me over. But I just was expecting someone else to take a shot, and then I was like ready to like go to you and be like, okay, so this has been exposed, time for us to reassess, time for us to figure it out. But it just didn't happen. I had to reassess from there.
Okay, good enough for now. Like, I'm not mad at you. I'm so happy we got close. Even though, like, you really made me upset about hiding the Ori alliance from me because I'm also a returnee. I did like 10 times harder. than you and Lynn. And I'll go next to Lynn. Okay, Lynn, before like I say this, like I don't want you to hate me. I think you don't have a mean bone in your body. I'm glad we had a relationship this season, but reading like listening to the jury answers, I think it's funny how you didn't think that you didn't think I played a strong game. I was gonna kind of defend you. Like, even though I wasn't happy what I heard from the jury, because obviously you don't have to be a flashy character or like win a bunch of competitions to be a good player.
Yeah, no. I think oh, sorry.
And when people said like you flipping on like Olivia, Dylan, those people were bad, I mean, I think it helped your game. It helped us have a relationship. My question to you is, what was the hardest round you had? Like, I had to like I had to like rely on my social connections. Like, all my allies died like the plague. So, what did you have to like? I don't know. Fuck, I'm so stupid.
No.
What did you have to like? What was the hardest week for you in the game?
Okay, so first of all, like I just want to say I do think you played a strong game because you were socially strong, and I think that like you don't have to play a flashy game to play a good game, and I understand that. I think it was just running out of time, so I didn't have much to say, and I just had to do what I had to do because like obviously like I did say you still would have beat me in the end no matter what. But I feel like the hardest round for me, as I've mentioned it before, was probably the one where Olivia and Nora were final noms because I was very close with both of them. And I know it was because I was still like at that moment, I was like, felt like I was in the middle. And I kind of felt like everybody was like, pick a side. But I was just thinking about what would help personally. And I know that having two people up that I felt closest with in the game at that point in time was probably like the hardest thing for me to do.
Yeah, also it just pissed me off like you guys used an emotional reason to not keep Olivia. I mean, Olivia's look high key too cool for orgs. I don't think she would hate you forever. But anyways, since you guys been like ripped apart a bit, I'm gonna ask you a nice question. What was your favorite moment? It could be a funny moment, a move you did, or anything.
Should I go?
Yeah,
I
you
feel
can go.
like my favourite moment was me, you, and Alyssa calling right after she stayed. I think because the kind of like positivity of that, like after Alyssa and like that kind of like nervous cry, laugh, gasp thing when she stayed, and she was so clearly happy. We were just calling and celebrating. That's probably my happiest moment in the game. Was it happiest? I can't remember what the question was.
It could be happiest moment, funniest moment, a move.
I'm trying to think of something like specifically funny, but I'll go with that as my kind of like favorite moment.
Okay, Lynn.
I don't know. It's really weird some of the things that have stuck with me about this game because like I'll mention it, everybody's like that happened. I'm like I don't know why I thought it was so funny and why it stuck with me, but like during the purge when Alyssa got out and she sent a middle finger picture after she got out, and I don't know why, but it stuck with me since that day as the funniest thing to happen. And I mentioned that to her, and she has no recollection, but like it still sends me every time I think about it. Like.
I thought of a funny moment, if you still want them.
Yeah, say it, Ali.
So this is an Ori thing. I know that's not a fun one, but we were on call right at the start, and I was in the museum, and it was like, "Hey guys, there's an option to go to the dungeon. Should I go?" And then I can finally see you. Okay, hello, Emma. I can actually see you now. And it was literally like, "Oh, should I go?" And I was like, "Yes." And then then the host said, "Okay, Ali, time to leave right now." She said, "Okay, bye bye," and hung up the call. And it was so funny. I thought I didn't get nominated week one because of it, but it was so funny.
It was really funny because we were just like, he just went, "Oh no," and then went, bloop.
Oh yeah. Are you guys done? Because I'm gonna show you a picture.
Is it Taylor's wife's dinner?
Stop! bon appetit. Mwah.
Okay. How much time do I have, guys?
You're on your last minute, but people went over, so if you have another question, you can go ahead.
Okay, another question is, what is your favorite non-Ore moment? It cannot involve anything about Ore, because it's Galar, not Ore.
I'm trying to think other than the call with you and Alyssa.
Oh, I have one.
Okay.
I feel like Jackbox was really fun moments and all the jokes about being like, oh, my uncle, and being like Brennan like leaving and stuff like that, like in Sexy Superstar 9. Like I feel like the Jackbox games were so fun, and like it makes me really treasure this season because honestly, like I don't care what the VL thinks, like this was such a fun season. Like I know it was disappointing in how things played out, but it was so fun in the beginning, and I remember thinking this is like the most fun I've ever had played in a season, and I love all of these people.
I'm just basically all I can think of is like particularly funny calls I had with people. Like I called with Nora once and I had just so much fun. We were just talking about I think the round it was Lynn versus Trent, and I was just laughing. It was fun, but there must have been like something like a specific like a meme thing that I found funny. I don't know. I feel like I'll go with that. That it was just kind of like with both them, the call after Alyssa stayed, and then my one random call that was like so much fun. Oh, and Dem whipping his bald head back and forth.
Sometimes I still think about the gif of when he's like, walking past like backwards. It's so funny.
Okay.
Like I really love them for that.
I got no other questions to say except this has been like a fun season, even if I aged 900 years. Okay, bye.
Thanks so much, Emma. Adios. She's gone. Okay. So it's time for our last juror, Randy, last but not least. Then we'll do closing statements, then we'll be done.
Here he is. Mariah Carey herself.
Hello. Oh my god. Y'all look disgusting. Hi, I'm Randy. It's nice to meet you. Is my camera on? Can you see me?
Yeah, you look good.
Okay, so I know y'all just had, I guess, a hard time answering simple questions, so I'm gonna give y'all a break. And since we're all Olivia's little sheep, I'm gonna invite Olivia right now, and we're all gonna bath for her, like little goats.
Wait, what?
I do not know how to add her.
I also didn't hear what we're
Host, can you
supposed
add
to
her,
do.
please?
He wants us to bath for her like goats, like go ah.
There she is. All right.
Oh god.
Will she join?
Bet you thought you saw the last of me.
The queen to my king. Okay. Wait, Allie.
This is ridiculous.
Can you bring your dog? Can your dog battle with us?
Yeah, wait.
See, we're getting you up and moving. Get your steps in.
Are you ready, ladies?
Yes, she is.
I wish I had like a crown or something.
3, 2, 1.
All right, that's enough. Goodbye,
Yeah.
Olivia.
Olivia, I love you. Okay. So I made some notes. Going into this, I will be honest, I was a little bit more pro Allie, but of course Allie does everything to disappoint me, as he did throughout this game. Allie, I feel like you did not realize how much power.
He froze.
Yeah, froze for me as well.
Yeah, his Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I know
is
that
really
Wi-Fi. If
bad.
he's at USC,
Okay,
it's
Randy.
definitely, yeah.
Randy.
Hello?
Oh,
there you are.
Okay. Allie, I'm gonna be honest. When I first made that alliance, I was like, Allie's gonna be the undoing of. I was just lucky it wasn't until Final 5. I feel like you failed to realize how much power you've had over this game. And I do, like, that makes me kind of like, ugh, like, he had so much, like, opportunities, so many avenues, and he didn't take them. You both stuck to what was safe. and that was me and Olivia. And I do want to state that I do think that's impressive that how many times that me and Olivia's names have been brought up throughout this whole entire life. I feel like you two like fighting for the crown is absolutely like futile because neither of you deserve it. And if you think you do, just spit in my face. It's not that hard. So I do also want to say that like Lynn, I love you. Obviously, I feel like out of the alliance, you were the weakest, but you had the most audacious goals between you and Ali. However, I do want to state that you both have been focusing on these little mundane moves like, oh, I kept Alyssa, which is cool. But when I won HOH and POV Live Night, you both succumbed to me. Y'all became my bitches, and you voted out Alyssa when I told you to. When you all were like Anna Jane, and Olivia did say Trent at first, and when I pushed for Trent, you all collapsed. And I feel like Ali, especially with an Ore, you did not have the backbone needed to lead this game. And I think it's because you as a personality and you as a player, you are just a follower because you're not confident enough to take charge in this game. The reason you are in this final two is because you were just lucky enough. I guess I just had like a seizure doing like the final HOH. Like I just feel stupid now because the things you guys keep on rambling about are practically irrelevant. And like it's just like these like minor details that show like how much you did not play this game. And that's embarrassing for me. However, I am happy to see you two in the final two because it's because of my hard work. It's because of Olivia's hard work. And so I'm gonna ask you this question. You need 5 votes to win. We agree on that, right? We agree? Okay. Pick the 5 votes you want from this jury, and 2 of them better be me and Olivia. Lynn, you go first.
Okay. I mean, I feel like I would like obviously you, Olivia, because because I feel like personally, like I don't know, we've grown and throughout this game together. I would love to have Nora, but I know that she's probably very upset with me because I've been friends with her since the beginning. But I want her to do her own thing and make her own move. I know a lot of people were a lot closer to Ali socially. I know I always tried to be nice to Dim. I would love to have his because I feel like I don't know, like I felt like I really wanted to be there for him even through everything. And I think that I would like to have I don't know. I feel like I would like to have I know I didn't really talk to Dylan that much, but I feel like I didn't play into being like his little puppy. And so I feel like it would be fun to have his. That's 5, correct?
Ali?
Okay.
I think so. I can't count.
Okay. So if I the ones that I'd want, Dylan, because he did think I was really stupid, and so his jury vote would be a sign that I maybe wasn't as dumb as he thought I was, and that'd be quite like a good thing for my ego. I would like Alyssa's and Anna Jane because I think I really like they were like big targets everyone wanted the whole time, and so having the seal of approval of those players would be a big deal to me. I would like
That's 5, Ali.
That's 3.
Oh, you're not saying me and Olivia?
Oh.
Oh my gosh, are you not gonna say that? That's disgusting. Oh my god. No, don't I'm not gonna let you finish. No, please stop talking. Oh my god. Like imagine.
Okay, then I won't say you and Olivia. I was just
No,
not
you should
finished.
say me and Olivia.
I just wasn't finished saying 5. I just got confused. Okay, never mind. I didn't mean to cause a thing.
Okay. So
But also, can I say something quickly or no?
Of course.
So when it was Trent and Anna Jane as Emerald Power Veto things, didn't we get in some weird fight about that for like 2 rounds? So I don't get the whole backbone thing when we got in some weird kerfuffle over that.
What do you about the Emerald Power Veto?
Yeah, because I remember we were talking about it, and then I wanted Anna Jane the whole time, and then afterwards you were like, I feel like I'm shutting you down a lot, and then it was awkward for 2 rounds. We got in some weird fight about it, and then you told me to oink. Like that was all about that. So I think it wasn't a backbone thing.
I mean, when it came to that, I don't think we fought, and if I did, I guess I was just trying to stir the pot. I mean, that had no merit because, like, I knew in that conversation I was gonna get what I wanted because I knew that your voice within that alliance was the weakest.
Okay. So, and I just wanted to like bring that up, and also, yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah. No, but I will elaborate. The reason that I started to like get a little with you was during the Alyssa vote. I want to say a pod to Lynn when I'm giving you like a little praise because you deserve some. You were able to mist me into thinking it was Anna Jane and it wasn't. And like I didn't even ask for your screenshots. Like I think that's very impressive. That like when people talk about this game, they're going to talk about me and Olivia and how we carried y'all's fat asses. And I feel like it's kind of cool, like how Lynn, this little miss thing that didn't catch up with her until it was too late for me and Olivia to like backtrack on her. So I do want to give you kudos for that. I want to do something a little bit more fun because I'm done being mean and I want to have a good time. So when I was listening to y'all's whatever you call this last hour, I decided that we need to do some psychological tests to like get inside your dark, twisted minds. So I'm gonna show you 10 photos. I'm gonna ask you some questions about them, and you're just gonna tell me like how you feel about it.
Oh god, if one of them's
Okay.
Taylor's dinner.
Photo 1. What emotion does this photo give you?
I can't tell. What? Oh, it's Taylor's dinner. I knew it was gonna be. Concern for his health. That's not an emotion. That's words. But concern, then.
Okay.
I don't know. Is hungry an emotion?
I think hungry is an emotion. Okay. I don't think I should show that one. I'll show this one. It's not like focusing. Lynn, how does this make you feel?
It makes me praiseful. Like, what a queen.
Allie, how does that make you feel?
I can't tell what I was looking at.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Who is
Olivia.
that?
That's Olivia.
No, it's not.
Pay attention.
Okay, then confusion.
Okay. What type of fear does this photo invoke?
King. Oh, nothing but respect for my king.
Mm-hmm.
He was the best DR guest ever, and I love him so much. That's my thoughts for that one.
How about you, Lynn?
Brings me a lot of fear. A lot.
Do you feel how can you sympathize with this photo?
Having to host me for 2 seasons, like braver than any US Marine.
Yeah. Oh, no sympathy. Maybe sympathy for having to talk to me.
All right. So, Randy.
Give me one more. Just one more, Nick.
That's it.
One more.
Just one more.
Okay. How does this photo make you feel?
No.
It's my turn with the plate.
This is
Okay.
not relevant
I
to the
guess
game.
Allie.
I've had enough.
Okay.
Oh, I was going to
I
show a
want to say-
plate that I have next to me. That was it.
Yeah. Okay, I just want to say that I am disappointed in myself that I lost, but for the fruits of my labor to be in the final 2 is something I can be proud of. I am happy to be your dad, and I'm happy to have carried y'all because y'all needed me, and y'all needed me bad. So that's it. Bye.
Bye, Randy.
All right. So that was upsetting, but it's time for concluding statements. So feels like 4 hours ago, but the order that we predetermined was Lynn and then Allie. So, before I die of the plague, you'll get 2 minutes to give your final speech as to why the jurors should cast their vote for you. Lynn, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Okay. I do feel like I hear what Randy was saying about fixating on tiny moves in this game to as our thing, showing that we weren't really like big players in it. But I feel like when you're in a pretty tight alliance with 2 big players that have pretty big targets on their back, it's like, why not let them get more targets on their back over me? So why not let them make the big moves? Why not let them do all of this? And they really did. Like, it's very obvious and shows that they did a lot of what they did is the reason why we're here. But it's also like a thing that it's like I feel like we could have gone against them, but they were big shields during the whole entire time. And so I feel like that's a reason why like it was good for them to do. And I mean, I feel like even though my moves were minuscule, they were big in the way that they helped ensure that I got the furthest I could get if Randy or Olivia ended up going further than when they did. Um, I don't really know what else to say, so I guess that's cutting mine a little short, because I feel like I've said a lot of what I've needed to say throughout, and I hope everybody has like listened to what I've had to say and think of me a little bit better than of doing nothing in this game, like absolutely nothing, because I feel like I did do a little something. Like even if I don't come out of this a winner, I just want to come out of this showing people that I actually tried to play a game worth something.
All right. Well, Allie, go ahead.
Okie dokie, so thank you everyone for your questions. I just want to kind of wrap this up by saying I know that I'm so confident in the fact that I believe I deserve to win this season. Like, the fact that I was never nominated was not Ore's doing, that was my own doing and my own social connections. And also something I think that's worth pointing out that I wish I'd highlighted more. Yes, Randy and Olivia were shields and they made Goddessar, but when it was time to get them out, I got them both out. I voted them both out, and I'm the one that they may have been our shields, but I was also the one that went and got rid of them. Like, I wasn't gonna like when I waited and waited for someone to target them, and no one did, so I did it for them. I did it for everyone else. I got rid of them myself. And I feel like I was never nominated. I went back and forth. I kind of ping-ponged around. I feel like when you're looking for a deserving winner who's had a bigger role in the season, it is me. I hope I've proved that tonight, and I'm shy to answering jury questions, but I hope you can see that I have done more in this game than maybe it seemed, and that while you may be begrudging to vote for either of us, you can be confident voting for me as a deserving winner. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Nicholas, Julia, and Zach, for bringing me back. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, everyone that played. It's been a pleasure. Mwah.
All right. So that concludes this 2-hour long jury Q&A for 9 jurors. That was a lot. You guys, congratulations for making it to final 2. Regardless, you guys outlasted 20 other people. And this was, I would say, one of the most competitive seasons we've had in a while. So making it to the end is a huge feat. So anyhow, now it's time for the jury to put in some work and discuss who they believe deserves to win between the two of you. So tomorrow night at 9, we will crown the winner. You guys are done. Enjoy your night. Jury, I'll see you soon.